This book that I am reviewing, Austria, Prussia and Germany 1806-1871, is about the history of how Austria and Prussia sought to use the rise of German nationalism and the need to suppress revolution to bring the other German states under their control. By 1806, Napoleon had finished his work in overthrowing the traditional state system of the Holy Roman Empire. His agenda of mobilizing Germans to defend France meant that nationalists would emerge to defend German independence. The princes had an ambiguous relationship to these nationalists. On the one hand, they used the nationalists to fight foreigners, while on the other hand the princes sought to prevent actual unification. However, the period of 1806 to 1871 would see the princes lose this game, as they depended on Austria and Prussia, and later just Prussia, to suppress revolution and promote industrialization through centralizing schemes such as the Deutsche Bund and the Zollverein. The Deutsche Bund, formed to counter revolution, was a joint zone of influence for Prussia and Austria. The formation of the Bund combined with the formation of the Zollverein would begin the re-emergence of Germany as an entity in its own right. The Zollverein coincided with improvements in transportation and communication to make Germans view themselves as part of a single culture. This homogeneous culture was rejected by some who saw the free flow of goods, services, and people as a threat to their way of life. In this way, the move towards German unity both promoted nationalism and the backlash to nationalism. The Bund, however, was more political and was used to facilitate cooperation in suppressing radicals. Ironically, this promoted unity as the radicals began to cross state boundaries. The chance to unite Germany was squandered by the National Assembly. The purpose of the Assembly, as seen by the deputies, was the use of reason to promote the common good. They were surprised at how standard haggling and compromise are in a democratic order. This meant that both the revolutionaries and the counter-revolutionaries were ready to use force to settle disputes in the Assembly. In general, the radicals alienated too many people. Free trade and secessionism, of Austria from the Habsburg Empire, of Schleswig from Denmark, etc., polarized the deputies and gave the princes the power to decide in their own favor. Even the question of how the Assembly would enforce its will was unanswered. Would the Assembly establish a republic, or would it make the King of Prussia Emperor of Germany? And what would be done about the control of the Habsburg emperors over Austria? In the aftermath of the 1848 crisis, Prussia began its rise to power by using the realignment of German power politics to its advantage. This realignment put Austria at a disadvantage, since Austria had depended on the Russian army to suppress rebellion. Since the Habsburgs could not even control their own state without outside help, they were naturally dependent on their Russian allies. In 1850, when they forced Prussia to back out of the Grand Duchy of Hesse-Kassel, Russian support did not prevent Austria from opposing the Tsar when he challenged the Sultan. Since this isolated Austria, it marked the beginning of Austria's decline as a major power. At the same time, Prussia continued its policy of recruiting states for the Zollverein. As Austria lobbied for entrance, Prussia made an alliance with her against the Sultan, under the official guise of armed neutrality, but at the same time denied her actual membership. In short, Prussia became more powerful as Austria became less powerful. With the dissolution of the Holy Roman Empire, the fate of Germany fell into the hands of Prussia, Austria, the princes, and the German nationalists. The princes alternately fought the nationalists and used them. Amongst the princes, the most important were the, ultimately rival, monarchs of Prussia and Austria. Ultimately, the continuing realignment of German power politics would favor Prussia.